Hopefully that's working now. I said that before, but you know, whoops. There we are. Just got to double check the audio is working for me. Just double checking the audio is working. Cool, it's working finally. Well, sorry I'm a little bit late, but I already packed 2 orders and I found out the sound wasn't working, so oh well. I'll just keep on going. Phil, Australia Post for Phil. Perfect. All right, let's keep going. Nathan has bought a oil valve. Interesting. All right. 10921 AA perfect. So these oil valves are the controllers for the variable timing on the camshaft. Could be just the top ones, or it could be all 4. And they usually go because of the little filters that sit in them. There's hold on, get rid of that. Heaps of bubble wrap. Expensive sensor. And Australia Post. There's a little filter that sits in the banjo bolt that gets clogged up sometimes, and after it gets really old, it comes. So if you got your little valve that goes in and your little sensor at the top in your banjo, or the connection, sorry, this banjo can break. The little filter in it, it gets stuck in the piston, and it can jam it open, which can cause a lot of issues. A, because your variable timing ain't working, and B, it's probably stuck on a setting you don't want, and the car will chuck an absolute tantrum over it. That's okay. A nice new one will fix that, that's for sure. It's a common thing to do with these particular gaskets. No, it's not a gasket, sorry. What would you call it? The solenoid? Sort of. Tight bit. Common thing to do is to delete that filter on both sides. A lot of people do that before there's an issue, solely because it's happened in the past or whatever. You just take the banjo out, take the filter out, pop it back in, it should be right. Because, you know, the oil filter is there for a reason, it's doing its job. I really doubt that filter is actually catching something that would stop it from working, apart from it being the thing that stops it working. Ironic as that is. Heaps of Express Post tape, because Australia Post loves stuffing that up. Cool. And awesome. Make it very clear to them that it's Express Post. It's one of the worst things. You pay extra money for that shipping, and it doesn't even come in time. Thanks, Nathan. Hopefully it fixes your issue. Hopefully it's just the one too. Matthew. Genuine hose. Cinnamon. Alright, okay, 99071 AB420 for Matthew. Quite a few bends in that. Vacuum hose. I'm not exactly sure where it goes, but my guess, because of the shape, it's one of the either the ports on the side of the block, the crankcase, or one of those venting case on the sides. No, it would be that. It would be that one either for a turbo, which would be on the side, like that, or for a naturally aspirated, which would then come out of the little filter looking thing on top. It's not really a filter, it stops all the water getting in on top there. Yeah, they get a little crusty over time. Break them quite easily. Get a bit of bubble wrap. Technically, doesn't need bubble wrap, the hose, but I like to anyway. You never know where it's going to end up. Yeah, she'll fit. Cool. Thank you, Matthew. Next one. Oh, gaskets. I call you John without the H. John. Well, yeah. John. One of these for you. Drain plug gaskets. Very good. Yes, technically you can get away with just rattle gunning that bad boy back in there. But if it's a 14mm plug versus 17mm, definitely wise to get a couple of these. Actually, I'm going to talk about that. Let me just grab some of these envelopes for you. Actually, I'm going to find this. It's interesting. Interesting change they did to sump plugs. Not too sure if this is the right one, but it'll still get the point across. So this is a drain plug gasket specifically for the motor. And the sump plug, here's your little sump plug that you bent. Now, I had a conversation with a customer. It took me quite a while to get through, try and understand what the concern was, but I shipped him one of these parts because it was the correct one for his VIN, and about 30 minutes went by because he said it was the wrong part. Turns out that you've got your thread on the one side and then your bolt, your socket size on the other side. The only difference was the socket size. So this is a 17 mil compared to a 14. Now, it took us quite a while to figure out, but Subaru actually updated the size of the socket, and the reason they did it was because the 14 mils kept threading when you're trying to undo them. You would undo it and it would just slip, it'd be snowy, or especially in cold places, it was just ruining them, which is ironically the reason why he bought one. But he was very upset that it turned into a 17 and the 14 mils have been discontinued. So yeah, if you have an old 14 mil one, recommended getting the new standards, because one day, it won't be today, but it'll be one day, it won't come off as easy. But anyway, thank you Subaru for not telling anyone. A lot of confusion. Alright, this just goes straight in the bag. A bit of bubble wrap in there. Oh. And two stamps. Thank you for your order. Fill that. Australia Post. Next one is Mark with the same order. 126 AA 000. Awesome, good work. Swapping those out. When I first started working on cars when I was a teenager, never swapped one out. Always just rattle gunned it in. Technically works, but there would come a day when it wouldn't. So glad it didn't happen, but it could have. Cool. Australia Post, fulfill. Next one. Daniel. Daniel is next, and he has bought some relays. Oh. The only interesting thing about these is the fact that I've never swapped one, so I've got no interesting stories, and I wonder what happened. I'm assuming an electrical fault or something. I'll change the shot. So with the Subaru packaging, sometimes they just throw them in there. There's no plastic wrapping, sometimes there is. It's really inconsistent. But yeah, relay. One relay. I might actually bubble wrap that a little bit in the box, otherwise the box rattles around and you don't want that. A little bit of bubble wrap. I'm going to tape it just so it stops rattling around the box and potentially causes issues. I'm really upset Subaru moved away from the color print. I can get a few examples of this. It's clearly just a cost-saving measure on Subaru's parts. Here's some oil filters I've got. This is the original box they used to come in. That's a nice shot there. So it's got the color in the print, obviously, and it's multiple sides. Subaru, Japanese. Really, it's quite a nice box, but now they've just had the one label, black and white. Nothing else on it. Don't know why. Well, I do know then. Saving money, but yeah, it's just a nicer packaging. It's a nice sticker. Cool. Grab some bubble wrap there. Perfect. Daniel. Yep. Sweet. Daniel did message me asking for 2, and I'm sorry I don't have 2, but honestly, I'm surprised you do need the 2. It's not a very common item, that's for sure. Phil. Thank you, Daniel. That wraps it up for today. I'm sorry I missed out the first 2. Had no sound, so oh well. That's my orders for this weekend. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next weekend at 6 o'clock. Thank you.